Welcome back. We're reading a little Sealed Nectar. So, Nectar. Okay, we're in the section titled The Military Activities Between Badr and Uhud, and we're on page 433. The men went and called upon him at night. He came down, although his wife warned him not to meet them, alleging that, "I hear a voice which sounds like the voice of murder." He said, "It is only Muhammad bin Maslama and my foster brother, Abu Na'ilah. When a gentleman is called at night, even if he be pierced with a spear, he should respond to the call." Even if you're pierced with a spear? I don't know. Oh. Abu Na'ilah said to his companions, "As he comes down, I will extend my hand towards his head to smell, and when I hold him fast, you should do your job." So when he came down, they talked together for about an hour. They then invited him to go out and spend a nice time in the moonlight. On the way out, Abu Na'ilah remarked, "I smell the nicest perfume from you." Ka'ab said, "Yes, I have with me a mistress who is the most scented of the women of Arabia." Abu Na'ilah again said, "Allow me to smell the scent on your head." He said, "Yes, you may smell." So he caught it and smelt. Then he said, "Allow me to do so once again." If somebody asked to smell my hair, I'd be like, "Are you Joe Biden?" He then held his head fast and said to his companions, "Do your job." And they killed him. The group of men came back after fulfilling their mission. One of them, Al-Harith bin Awz, was wounded by mistake with the swords of his men. Well, that's bad. And was bleeding badly. When they reached Baki al-Gharqad, they shouted, "Allah is most great." The Prophet, peace be with him, heard them and realized that they had killed the enemy of Allah. As they saw him, he said, "Cheerful faces are yours." In reply they said, "And yours, O Messenger of Allah." They handed the head of the tyrant over to him. He entered Allah's praises for their success. Such an old tradition. So many empires did that. So many empires. He then applied his saliva to Al-Harith's wound, and it healed on the spot. When the Jews learned about the death of their tyrant, Ka'ab bin al-Ashraf, they were scared. Even their stone-like hearts were in the grip of inexpressible panic. They realized that Allah's Messenger, peace be with him, would thenceforth never hesitate to use force when a good word of admonition failed. They remained silent and resigned, in faked adherence to covenants. Now the Prophet, peace be with him, was free to collect his thoughts and give himself up to resolving foreign affairs and facing dangers that could be carried on the hostile wind blowing again from Mecca. The invasion of Bahrain. I think sometimes they pronounce this Bahrain in English. Maybe it's different. In Rubiuth Thani, the year 3 AH, the Prophet, peace be with him, led a campaign comprising 300 warriors to Bahrain in the area of Al-Furu. He stayed there till Jumada al-Ula, 3 AH. No fighting took place in the process of this patrolling invasion. 300 warriors, that's not bad. Because, you get really large forces, you gotta have a lot of water and food. The next paragraph says, Zayd bin Haritha leads a campaign on the trade routes of Quraysh. This was the most successful campaign prior to the Uhud battle. It took place in Jumada Athaniya, the year 3 AH. Summer approached, and it was high time for the Meccan trade caravans to leave for Syria. The people of Quraysh, whose lives depend mainly on trade economy, consisting of summer caravans to Syria and winter caravans to Abyssinia, Ethiopia, were now at a loss as to what route they would have to follow in order to avoid the backbreaking military strikes that the Muslims successfully inflicted on the polytheists. They held a meeting to discuss the chances of escaping the economic blockade and decided to go along a trade route across Najd to Iraq. Furat bin Hayyan was appointed as the guide for the caravan. Safwan bin Umayyah led the caravan along the new route. News of the meeting leaked out through Nuaym bin Masud al-Ashai under the effect of wine, and it flew fast to Medina by Sulayt bin An-Numan, who told the Prophet, peace be with him, the plan. The Prophet, peace be with him, immediately gathered 100 horsemen under the leadership of Zayd bin Haritha al-Kalbi and dispatched them to intercept and capture the caravan. They caught up with the camels at a place called Al-Qarda. They took the polytheists by surprise and arrested their guide and 2 other men. Safwan and his guards fled away without showing the least resistance. The caravan was carrying silver and wares whose value amounted to 1,000 dirhams. Well, that's good. That's a good heist. Good heist. The booty was distributed among the Muslim warriors after 1/5 had been set aside for the Prophet, peace be with him. Furat bin Hayyan embraced Islam out of his own free will. Whoa. It's good that they divide the loot amongst the warriors. It's a shame when the warriors who risk their lives get nothing. As a result of this episode, the Muslims foiled the Quraysh plans to find a new trade route. The economic siege laid to Mecca was thus strengthened and had a great impact on the trade economy of Mecca. The Meccans were terribly anxious and worried about their prospects of life now at stake, with no hope whatsoever for any possible rehabilitation of commercial life or redemption of former prestige at the socio-political level, except through 2 avenues categorically contrasting, giving up all symbols of pride and attitudes of arrogance through reconciliation with the new state of affairs, and peaceableness with the Muslims, or launching a decisive, overpowering war with the aim of crushing down the military forces of Medina. It was apparent through the process of events that the Quraysh had opted for the second alternative. Loud cries were being heard everywhere in the Mecca, demanding immediate revenge and quick retaliatory action. These movements on all levels constituted the direct preliminaries to the Battle of Uhud. Oh. Trade routes. A lot of people have mentioned today that when you look at the grand scheme of things, what nations go to war over, a lot of it is trade. And what causes mass migrations of people is, bad trade deals. And, trade is such an important aspect. But also, boycotting and sanctions and stuff like that plays a big deal as well. Imagine a world where there wasn't any trade. So when you cut off, that's, smart. You're going to take over that trade route of the Quraysh, foiling their plans. That is an economic siege, right? You're cutting off the money supply. You're cutting off, all the exotics that they like, or even just certain foods they've gotten accustomed to, clothing, even livestock. Furat bin Hayyan, he was the guide of the caravan. Safwan bin Umayyah, and he led along a new route. Sulay bin An-Numan, Zayd bin Haritha al-Kalbi. And then Furat bin Hayyan becomes a Muslim. Interesting. I wonder how it, here's the head. Put it on a spike. Interesting. Such an ancient tradition. Ancient tradition. It takes a lot of guts to do that. Loud cries were being heard everywhere in Mecca demanding immediate revenge and quick retaliatory action. People just urging, wanting it to go down. When the people want something, man, the leaders really bend to the will, right? The people are really forceful, saying, "We want this. Come on, do it. Hey." It's like there's an energy that sweeps through the crowds. Kind of really propels the movement. Very interesting. What do you think, family? 300 is not a bad soldier amount. Hot, too.